Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I'm going to share a card with you. I think it's called a sliding pop-up card. This is the one, and basically when you hold it down the bottom here and you pull this, it will sit up and look really cute. Now this is a design that I came across from Kim Score, and really all I've done is to bring it up to date using some of the new Stampin' Up products from the 2019-2020 Stampin' Up catalogue. So basically my video is going to show you how to create, if you like, how to do the mechanism, and then I will briefly just show you how I decorated it, what products I used to do that. Okay then, so we are going to start with 2 pieces of cardstock. The sizes of these I am going to list on my blog post, and you'll find the link to that immediately below this video. But this is like a quarter sheet. This is Mossy Meadow quarter sheet that is 5.5 by 4.25. Then this is 4 by 5.25. And you're going to want to score this one. I just don't, perhaps you can see the line. It's a 1.5 inch score up here. And then for my card, I embossed it. I ran it through my Big Shot with the layered leaf embossing folder. There's my fold still there. Okay, and I've put a couple of pieces of double-sided tear and tape in there, on there, to save a little bit of time. I'm working ahead. I worked ahead a bit. I'm going to take off this tape, and my next piece is Designer Series paper, and it is 9 inches long by 1.5 inches wide, and this is the Garden Lane Designer Series paper. So you can choose whichever side you'd like on. Since I used the more structured side on this one, I'm going to use the more floral one here, and you're going to stick this on so that this bottom edge is on the edge of your card, and roughly, it's not vital, but roughly halfway along. And I've just lined it up. There we go, and press firmly. Then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape just on one end of the Designer Series paper, and then bringing in this piece of cardstock. This is the Mossy Meadow. I'm going to make sure that both parts are lined up at the bottom like this, and that this is sort of centered on the sides. All right, flip it over, and then I'm going to bring my Designer Series paper in, and I'm just going to fold it over so that all the edges are all equal, all level, and put a crease in there. Now you don't want this to be ever so tight, but you want it to be firm to hold your card in place when it comes to it. But if it's too tight, it will not slide. So again, I'm making sure that my bottom pieces are nicely lined up, and then I can just pop and remove the tape and just bring it in carefully like that. So there we've got our piece of card. Now I'm going to remove this, and with a 1 inch circle punch, I'm going to put myself a little notch roughly halfway along, and just kind of, I suppose, about 1/3 of the circle. There we go. That's all we need there. So that's our part. That's it so far. I'm going to set that aside for a few minutes, and then I'm going to bring in these 3 pieces. Now these are the mechanisms. These are the pieces that are going to allow the card to sort of pop up and stay up. So this first piece here, this is, let me see, 2.5 by 1.5, and I've just scored it at the bottom at 1/2 inch, and I've stuck some double-sided tape on the back. Now don't worry about these measurements too much. As I say, the link at the bottom of this video will take you to my blog, and you will be able to then copy them down. Now you are going to place this so that this cut edge here is going to be level with the top of your designer series paper, and roughly as far closely as you can make it into the center of the card. So there we go, and I'm going to just press firmly. So that's our first piece of the mechanism. Our next piece of card is 1.5 inches by 1/2 inch, and I've scored it at, if you just catch the light, I've scored it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and then on either end I've put a little piece of designer series, a little piece of double-sided tape, and so I'm just going to put the score lines in, and just making sure that again the cut edges are level with one another, so I kind of get a nice sort of square shape like that. And we're going to take the backing off like this, here and here, and then we're going to attach it so that it makes like a little bridge like that. And the way to do that is you're going to take your piece and you're going to line up this cut edge here with the score line on the piece you just adhered, like that. Again, just press it firmly down, then you're just going to flip that up, and it should be level with the top cut and the designer series paper here. And then if you just bring this piece of card down and fold it along the score line, and you can go ahead and put the score, use a burnish tool, and you'll see that that piece, hopefully you can just see that that piece is there and it's holding this up. Now the next piece is this piece, and this is, let me get my thing. This is 2 3/4 long by 1 inch wide, and I've scored it at 1/2 inch and 2 1/4. So basically 1/2 inch from each end. All right. And I can see straight away I have put my double-sided tape on the wrong side, but there you go, that's what happens. But using my tool I can easily remove that without too much trouble. And if you've ever had troubles with adhesive, this is my embossing buddy. If you just tap it on there, it will kill your adhesive stone dead. Okay, so now I can put a piece on the correct side. All right, there's me thinking I was getting nice and ahead of the game. So basically we've got this piece, and you're going to fold one score one way and the other score line the other way, so you're kind of getting a bit of an elongated Z shape. And then your double-sided tape is on the outside edge of each. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to stick this down, and I made myself a little gauge somewhere. Here it is, because this piece needs to be stuck so that it's about a half an inch from the top here, and about so that it's halfway across. So I've got this little gauge, and I actually cut it and by 1 inch by 1 5/8, which where by the time I've added this in, we'll put it smack bang in the middle of my card. So again, I'm going to take off the backing here. I've got goop of thing. Now another little trick is, I don't know if you can see, but my tape, it's just hanging over the edge. Rather than trying to trim that back and getting it all gucky on my scissors, I'm just going to take my tool and flip it back on itself, and therefore, and there it's going to be nice and safe. Hope you were able to see that. So I'm going to now line up this edge here with the edge of my little gauge, and then the fold is going to be lined up with this edge of my little gauge. So just hold everything firm and just place it down like that and press firmly, and then the gauge is for another day. You're then going to take your other assembly and kind of slot it in the back, and you need to make sure that these pieces are level. They have to be level, and then at the same time you have to make sure that your margins are still good here, and mine are a tiny bit off, so I'm going to have to ease it there. So now I'm going to bring this up. There's my piece, and it's laying flat. So I'm going to take the backing off of my double-sided tape, keep that flat, and bring this back down again. And I'm just going to double check to make sure that this bit is all level. Those two pieces are level. My piece of card is as close to the middle as I can here. And then I'm just going to firmly press it down. And here we go. If I hold the DSP collar here and pull the little tab, it comes up. And there's my mechanism behind. I'll have to put something pretty on that one so it's not visible when I give this card. Maybe I'll just put a little flower or something on there. So that's your little mechanism. So that is how the card is assembled. So now to just finish the decoration. Now I could have had this piece longer up to here, but I wanted to give myself some flexibility as to how high I wanted my decoration. So I'm just going to add an extra piece of card onto that flap. And I want to make sure that when I stick it down, it does not go over the top of my card. Otherwise, when it goes into the envelope, it'll get my decoration will get crushed. So you can see I've been over generous with my tape again, and I've gone too far. I'm just going to pull it back on itself, and that's doing just fine. So I'm going to pop this in and make sure it does not hit the top of my card up there, which is fine, and press it firmly. And then my decoration, well, I have chosen to use the lovely new Daisy Lane stamp set, and it comes, you can get the bundle, and the bundle will include a medium daisy punch, and also there is a daisy on there that will match up with the bigger daisy punch that we have had for some time. Particularly fond of daisies. One of my Yorkies is called Daisy. So I have just stamped out 2 large daisies and 4 small daisies. I have just gently curled the petals, turning it over using my bone folder, and I've just stuck them together with some glue dots. Now I'm going to stick this one on to my card, And I want to make sure that these petals do not go below this piece here, otherwise it'll foul the pulling mechanism when you get to it. So there, that one's going to go there. And then the other two I'm going to stick on with dimensional. So I've already put them on the back, and I'm going to bring this one over here. And then my last one I'm going to bring over here. Okay, just making sure that it doesn't go over the top of my card. Then I also cut some leaves using the Lovely Leaf Punch, another one of my favorites. And I'm going to use glue dots, and I'm going to then tuck these leaves in to my flowers there, just to sort of fill the gaps. And if you are good at flower arranging, this will be right up your street. I, on the other hand, cannot arrange flowers at all. Okay, so then my last one, this is going to be another critical one because of the very top of the card. I want to make sure that I don't go above my card, but I tuck my leaf nicely behind. So the only other thing is I've got this little piece of card here, which is where I'm going to put my greeting. So I'm just going to pull this, and I'm going to use some liquid adhesive. Probably would have been easier if I'd have stuck this down before I put it all together, but you know. Just going to make sure I've got my nice little margin all around. Press that down firmly. Bring that back in. And then my final flourish are these absolutely delicious frosted and clear epoxy droplets. Yeah, you get a boatload of them. I think there's about 100 or something, 96 in here. Some are sort of shiny, some are frosted. So I'm just going to use frosted one in the middle of each of my flowers, like that. I've decorated up an envelope using the same daisy flowers, and there, all done. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a bit longer than what I normally do, but there's quite a lot going on in it. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed sharing it with you. Remember that you can get more details from my blog. The link is below. It will then take you also to my online store, where you can order these goodies if you would like to make this card as well. Thank you, and bye for now.